Over the past few years, I've been really into watching what is on my iPhone videos. And today I'm going to be showing you exactly what is on all of my technology which I use on an everyday basis. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Yoni, I'm a self-taught web developer, and today I'm going to be showing you all the apps I use on all my technology. My phone is a device that's a huge distraction, but can also be leveraged to be a great tool. So over the past few months, I've been moving things around on my phone in order to make my phone feel more like a productivity tool than a time wasting tool. As I'm sure you knew already, I'm very active on Instagram, and if you didn't know that, make sure to check out my Instagram. But I found on my phone I was spending too much time on Instagram scrolling the affinity pool that Instagram is. So I thought to myself, I can still upload posts and stories straight from my iPad, and even view all my posts and stories from my iPad, so I decided to take the plunge and delete Instagram off my phone. Over the past 3 weeks, I've not had Instagram on my phone, but I definitely do want to still see my Instagram DMs. This is where an app called Threads come in. If I open up the Threads app now, you can see that I'm able to DM everyone on Instagram, respond to all my DMs, without me to have the Instagram app on my actual phone. This is great, as having Instagram was a huge time waster, and I'm feeling a lot more productive these days on Instagram on my phone. Also, before we start, I want to point out my icon pack. My icon pack is known by Marwan Dev. Over the past year, almost two, I've been time tracking. What this basically means is I basically track every minute of my day. I do this to ensure that I'm keeping a healthy work-life balance, not spending too much time working on these videos or coding, or too much time watching Netflix. I use a service called Toggl for all my time tracking needs. The issue is the Toggl app sucks on your iPhone and iPad. It's just terrible and the interface is really hard to navigate. This is where Timery comes into play. Timery is an app that uses Toggl's API, so you can start and stop all your timers from your iPhone and iPad, but with a lot nicer of a design. So if I open up Timery now, you can see that I'm able to have all these different save timers. These save timers are great and all, but sometimes I like to have different tags to describe what I'm doing. As the way I time track is I keep all my projects with broad names, and I use tags to describe in more detail what I'm doing. This is where my serial shortcut called time tracking comes into play. If I run the shortcut now, what it's doing is it's checking there's a current timer running, which there is, so I'm either able to stop the current timer, change the active timer, then it will also give me the option for tags, check current project, or check today's tracking. And if there wasn't a timer running, I'd be able to select a new project and select multiple tags to run with the new timer. The default Twitter app sucks. It's just full of ads and useless information such as this is what your friends like. I mean, look, I just open up the app. The first thing I see is a promoted ad. I don't care. Tweetbot 1 through 5 was a paid app, but as of Tweetbot 6, Tweetbot is free, but there's a yearly or monthly subscription. Yes, I know, another subscription, but it's only £6 a year, and for £6 a year, I get quite a bit of value out of this app. Therefore, I'm perfectly happy paying the subscription fee. I am a huge fan of Notion, and Notion is what I use to run my entire life. I have Notion on every device, ranging from my phone to my iPad to my Mac. There are lots of great little cool things you can do with Notion. If you want to learn more about my productivity system with Notion, check out my video with Notion. My email client of choice across all my devices is Spark. The main reason I like Spark is because it splits up your email into categories of people, notifications, and newsletters. And unlike Apple Mail, it actually offers quite a lot of power user features of Spark. One of my key tools on my phone is Drafts. The whole idea of Drafts is this is where tech starts. Whenever I open up Drafts, I quickly get to a new note, therefore I'm able to quickly jot down an idea, and if I open Drafts up in the next 60 seconds again, I will be taken to a new note. This allows me to quickly capture lots of ideas for this YouTube channel and my Instagram posts. Last week I made a video all about how ThingsFree manages my entire life and why ThingsFree is one of the greatest task managers ever, so no surprise it is on my phone right over here. For a while I switched to Castro for all my podcast listening. The main reason I did this was because Castro supported up to 3 times speed for playback, and Overcast only went up to 2 times speed. But now that Overcast supports up to 3 times speed, I'm sticking with Overcast. The main reason I'm sticking for Overcast is Overcast has smart speed. What this does is it shortens silence and also voice boost, which makes people sound a lot louder than they actually are. Oh, and yes, I do actually listen to podcasts, audiobooks, and YouTube videos all in 3 times speed. On the last page of my iPhone, I have all my shortcuts widgets. These allow me to quickly enter in information or get information out of apps. These are pretty great for saving lots of time. As much as I love to spend time on my phone is definitely a huge time waster. But my phone can definitely be a very useful tool, and I don't always need all the instant messaging and Twitter and everything all on my phone. So a few weeks ago I repurposed my old iPhone X into, I guess you could say, a work phone. This phone only has the productivity apps I need, and this is the phone I primarily use throughout the day, so I don't want to get distracted on my normal phone with all the instant messages and everything. This phone more or less has all the same productivity apps as my iPhone 11 Pro, but none of the time waster apps such as Tweetbot, Threads and more. The way I like to read all my news is with RSS. The issue is most RSS apps are ugly and have a terrible reading experience. A few months ago I discovered Reader, and Reader's probably one of my favourite RSS apps ever. If I open up Reader, you can see that Reader has such a clean and minimal design. I'm able to read all my articles, which I definitely have not read in a few days, and catch up on everything that's going on all around the world and tech and everything. Also, Reader, I'm able to sync to multiple different RSS services. I use Feedly to sync all my feeds across devices. Reader just has one of the best designs and is fast. I have left the Mac Stories review of Reader down below in the description. Over the past few weeks, I've been slowly switching from Roam Research over to Obsidian. My main reason for doing this is Roam Research is a very expensive app, and Obsidian is free, and all your data is either stored locally or on iCloud. You choose where your data is. No one is storing it for you. So far I've been really enjoying the switch from Roam Research to Obsidian. Obsidian just feels so much faster and snappier, and in fact Obsidian even has a mobile app. It's definitely a lot better than going onto the website of Roam Research, where it barely even ever worked properly with iOS and iPadOS. It works basically more or less the exact same as Roam Research with a backlink system. Be prepared for a video coming soon about Obsidian. Photoshop does exist on your iPad, but it sucks. Affinity Photo is the better Photoshop for iPad than Photoshop. Affinity Photoshop costs around $20 to get it for the first time, but once you get it, you basically do everything you do on desktop version of Photoshop straight on your iPad. If you're into photo editing, I definitely recommend checking out Affinity Photo, as it's way better than Photoshop on the iPad. Speaking of photo editing, Lightroom is definitely one of my favourite apps too. I use Lightroom to make all my photos pop a bit more. For an example, here's a photo I took the other day to promote my latest video. Look at the before, and here's the after. Look how much better it looks after you edit all these pictures. Instapaper is an app I've been using since 2019. It's probably one of my all-time favourite apps. What Instapaper does is allows me to quickly save articles from anywhere and everywhere on my iPhone and Mac to read offline later. For an example, let's say I wanted to save this article about the iPhone 13's latest and greatest newest features with this camera straight to Instapaper. All I have to do is go to the share sheet extension, and I press Instapaper, it's saved, and now if you go to Instapaper you can see the article is there and I'm able to read it now offline, and within a couple minutes it should be available to read offline on my phone and Mac. As someone who basically lives out of their calendar or time blocking, Fantastical is probably one of my favourite apps. The whole cool feature of Fantastical is being able to have natural language support. What this basically means, if I enter in a calendar that's saying lunch with Bob tomorrow at 12:45 to 1:45 /home, it will add that event straight to my home calendar under the title Lunch with Bob at that certain time. This is a very cool feature which I wish loads more apps would support. On my iPad, one of my favourite tools is Siri shortcuts. I have around 59 shortcuts, as you can see over here. If you have not played around with Siri shortcuts yet, I definitely recommend giving it a go, because there's a lot of powerful things you can do with Siri shortcuts. As both my MacBook Pro and Mac Mini have more or less all the same apps, I've put them together in this section. Also, do keep in mind, a lot of the apps I have on my iPhone and iPad are also all across my Macs. The main reason for this is because apps like Notion, Things and Obsidian run my entire life, and I need all these apps accessed wherever and whatever device I am on. When working with APIs, a lot of the time I need to check that my API is working, and I actually need to be able to send requests to that API with a bunch of different cookies and everything. This is where the app Postman comes into play. With Postman, I'm able to make API requests and check all my APIs working. And yes, it is on port 42069, and yes, please don't use any of these passwords I've demonstrated right over here. The default terminal on macOS is okay, but for my terminal I like to use iTerm 2. With iTerm 2 there's hundreds of power user features which I do not take advantage of. My two favourite features are be able to have this nice translucent background you can see over here, so I'm able to see my background straight with iTerm 2, or when I'm in Vim I'm able to see the background of everything, and also the fact that iTerm 2 is such a nice, clean and minimal design. Look, you don't get any of the crap with the X or anything to close anything, it's all just one big terminal. Compare it to Things 3 where this isn't a full screen. Look at that, we have all these X and everything on any other app. Alfred is one of the most powerful Mac apps there is. Alfred is a replacement for the default Spotlight search on macOS. The cool thing of Alfred is not only am I able to search for apps, such as I want to look up iTerm, there you go, there's iTerm, but I'm also able to look up folders. And if I press enter, that will open up a folder, or I'm even able to browse the entire folder straight inside of Alfred. How cool is that? And yes, it does actually come into handy quite often. And on top of that, Alfred also has a built-in clipboard manager. I'm able to see my entire clipboard history from the past 3 months. It also does sync between what stuff I copy on my iPhone and other devices due to Apple's universal clipboard. And Alfred also has text snippets. I barely ever use these, but these are pretty cool when I do use them. On my MacBook over here, the main one I really use is just this one to quickly fill in the intro for all my videos and my scripts. If you're into Linux at all, I'm sure you've heard of a thing called a tiling window manager. Well, these are very rare to find on macOS. I have found one called Amethyst. What this basically means, if I open up another window such as iTerm, you see iTerm automatically adjusted, and I'm able to use keyboard shortcuts to move everything full screen. If I open up another window such as Finder, once it loads, there you go. Everything's automatically be able to fit on the screen. I'm able to use keyboard shortcuts to navigate around everything. This does work a lot better 3 columns than I will on my Mac Mini, as I have a way bigger screen. Of course, I could not forget Final Cut Pro. This is the app that keeps the entire channel running together with all my video editing. If it wasn't for Final Cut Pro, my videos would never make it past the filming stage. I have not really used any other video editor other than Final Cut Pro, and I'm not really looking into dabbling with any other editors for now. So that is what's on my tech devices as of 2021. The apps and everything I use is always changing around though, so this video isn't concrete about what's going to be my phone in 2 years from now. If you enjoyed this video, and I'm sure you'll love my video from last week, thank you for watching and see you later. Is this recording? We are recording. You guys hear that? Listen, it's coming straight from this. This thing is a literal jet engine. This thing is bloody hotter than the sun, I swear. Look, cool, my mouse pad's also hot now. This is what I use as my space heater during winter. So that was... Shut up, dumb machine. I was just opening up Final Cut Pro for the last bit of recording my MacBook screen, and I just saw this on Twitter. Guys, the Lucifer Season 5. Yes, Season 5. The Lucifer Season 6 trailer is about to be released soon. Nerd gang. Nerd gang. Nerd gang. Okay, back to the video.